Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and of course, what else? Dashboard 2.0, because with all these additional things that I've been playing around with the dialogues, I was able to, work some of the additional functionality in this file browser. So we have a couple of new stuff, and let me change the view because we have quite a few stuff here. Oh, by the way, maybe I put myself here. So in case you didn't see it, there were a couple of buttons here: refresh, parent, and home folder. And I made this toolbar full screen, so we have more buttons here. And the reason, not that the toolbar was not big enough here, but I wanted some of these buttons to also apply to whatever is selected here. I think it makes more sense that visually it's sort of like spans across both of the screens. I'm still playing around with the design, and I will eventually hide these borders, but that comes in the future. And I actually don't remember where I left off last time, but I think I have done some additional things. So for example, I have a toggle button where I can hide the folders. So if I don't want to see the folders, I have another button which shows that can toggle whether to show the hidden files or not. And yeah, these buttons are still dummy, they don't do anything. I have fixed the download button. Well, not really fixed, but it now works by downloading one file or multiple files, and it also works if you selected a file from here. So if I selected this file and I click on download, that it will still download that file. So this works. So either you do a selection or you selected a file which shows here, then you click download and then it will download the file. If I select multiple files and if I click on download files, then it shows me a pop-up. So that's why I wanted to pop up. And it says, oh, you have two files selected and it's going to be zipped and then downloaded, and then it does it. So yeah. I don't know why, Chrome all of a sudden has issues with the zip file. So you can download single file, multiple files, and obviously there is probably a limitation how much you can download by doing this, because actually it creates a very long Linux commands, and I don't know if there is a limit to that. If you don't want that, you can also do download all. So that just basically says that this would download all the files in this folder regardless of what you have selected. And that was the old function that I had in the past. Yeah, that's it. That's how much I have done. And of course, the changing the layout and then some bug fixes. There are still a lot of bugs, but I haven't fixed all of them. So that's where we are at the moment. So let's look at the code and see how it is done. So in terms of the code, nothing really changed here in the beginning, but then loads of other things changed towards the right. But first of all, let me do this, show hidden files. So what I have done in the toolbar is there is a new thing for the buttons that you can do. So you see these download file, download all, and then hide folders, show hidden files. So it is still created the same as all the other buttons. So it has a tooltip, adding an activator template and a button. But then I also use this the active method, because previously we used the disable to control whether the button is clickable, but now I use this active, and that's like this. So if you see active, then it remains highlighted or selected like this. So the function is active, and the same for the hidden files. And I control it exactly the same way as I did for the disabled feature. So you can set it to either active or not, and I'm still using that button state object to control that. So in the flow now I have I don't store it in the flow, but I create these button states to say if it's the function is enabled or not. And for this I created a new logic where, again, if you click on the toolbar, then there is this big switch node which decides what you clicked on. So that comes from the topic. You can see show hide folders and hidden files. and yeah, it's here, show hide folders and hidden files. And then what I do here is actually I stored it in the browser. So I created this new object which is called the browser settings. So it shows whether the folders are hidden or shown. And I basically get the current value and I toggle it. And then I create a message, I send a message with the topic toolbar, which goes back here into this file action. And then when we get a toolbar message, then it basically just redirects that message all the way back into the top to refresh the toolbar. So what this piece of flow, sort of like this loop does, it just toggles this state, these two states here. So when I click, it registers that it clicked. It checks what the last value was, whether it was active or not, and it just toggles it, and then it refreshes the screen, so it can, well, it sends the information back to the toolbar, so it can update whether it's active or not. But then here, when I do the file handling, actually the prep data, I also get these browser settings, and well, actually, before that, here I also get the browser settings, because to the file list node I can tell it whether to send the hidden message or not. And as you can see, I'm using these operators here. So if this is not defined yet because Node-RED just restarted, then it just defaults to yes. So it sends the information to the file lister node whether to list the hidden messages or not. And I cannot tell it not to select the folders. So what I can do here when I process the data is that I just loop through the results and I remove the directories if I don't want to see the directories. So that the information that goes into the file list node would just not contain the directories anymore. So that's how these two buttons work. And I think I'm going to have more buttons. So for example, I probably want to have a date filter and some other filters, and that's why I was working on that date filter dialog in the previous video. Okay, so that's cool, and it works. Especially I don't want to see all these folders in the beginning. I just quickly toggle them and it jumps right to where the file starts. And then we had all these download and everything. So nothing really changed here on the viewer part, but then I have all the download actions. So that was the, well, first of all, the download actions. So normally when I click on download, then this has been enhanced because now it handles all the different cases. So I haven't selected anything. So nothing is selected here on the checkboxes. But I clicked on the file which is being displayed here, so that's what I would get downloaded. So this piece handles that part, and it just sends the download link in the payload based on what I clicked on last. And if I have one single thing selected, then that's the one that I'm going to download. So then it goes to the last selected, and then it sends again the download link. And if I have multiple files selected, then that's when it's going to show me the confirmation dialog that we have seen. So as you can see, I'm putting all these text together like download files. You have selected X number of files, which will be downloaded as a zip. And you can see I have a line break here and a line break. And are you sure we want to do this? And then, okay, cancel. And then based on whether I download a single file, then the information goes out to the top node, and if I want to have multiple files, it goes on the second node. So the first top node is just the template which runs the window.open, and also I had to add this message here, so it sends the an empty payload out, because sometimes I noticed that this download link would I don't know, get somehow stuck in this payload. So if I refresh the screen, it would again, trigger the download. And by doing this send payload undefined, I don't get that anymore. So that just generates the download. But then if I want to download multiple ones, then I first open the OK cancel dialog. So that's what was discussed in the previous example already. That's exactly the same logic, or sorry, exactly the same code. and then we checked if I clicked the payload is okay. So I click on the OK button, and that's this is where I check the action, because actually I'm using this dialog for all the different confirmation dialogues, the the delete dialog, the download dialog, the download all dialog. And that's why I said in the previous video is that by only changing the payload and leaving the topic intact, now after the dialog I know that the original reason why the dialog was raised, whether it was a download or a delete, because obviously based on that I need to do separate things. So if I want to do a delete, that's the last one, then basically I have to do the same thing what I have done previously. So I check all these cases, and I mean essentially the only case I will get here is this one where I have selected multiple files. And I think this is a bit of a lazy solution, but what I do is I create a file list. Well, I create an object list, yeah, an array which has objects, and in that object I'm pushing the file name for all the files that are selected, and then payload is nothing and the topic is refresh. So I'm sending out a bunch of messages for every single file that I selected, and I just have this simple file write node which is set to action delete file, and then it takes the message from the message.filename and then basically just goes delete for every single file. And this one goes all the way back to here, which then refreshes the screen. So the only not so nice thing about this, that if you delete 10 files, it actually refreshes the this one 10 times, but it's just so quick that I don't care. So that's the single multiple file delete. Yeah, I managed to wave into this process and it just works very good. I haven't really looked at the the debug window to see if I get a lot of errors, and also I haven't really done a lot of testing if I get any errors on the browser side. But yeah, so maybe there needs to be some fine-tuning on that side. Next, that was download, right? Yeah, and I also created this download all, and as I said, this just downloads all the files regardless of the selection. And that's the download all action. And again, all it does here, so if the button toolbar press was download all, then I just create a new message, the dialog. I send it off to the same dialog template, and then if OK was pressed and it was download all, then I create a download all. So and it's the same logic that I used in the past. So it creates a file name, and then it says zip file path, so the current path, and then the file path is the full path for the zip file, and then the current folder /star.star. So everything in the folder gets compressed. And I haven't used recursive, so it's basically just the files. So that was easy. And this button is always available because you always have something. I mean, you might have a directory which is empty, but it's just not going to do anything. And if you selected this one, so if you selected multiple files to download, then we show the confirmation screen. And then if it was just a simple download, then we have the case again that we start collecting. We look at all the files that were selected, and we create a file list. So this is what I said, that the Linux command to zip multiple files is most probably going to be a fairly long one, because now the only way I could make this work is that for every single file name I include the folder, because you don't start zipping in the same folder as the your files are if you're not in the home folder. And I couldn't find a way how to say that these files are in this folder, so I don't have to specify the folder for every single file. So if you select, let's say 100, I don't think it's, I mean, the command is going to be so big that I don't know if there is a limit in Linux to, how much you can handle. Why did I get this one? Well, maybe that's from the past. Oh yeah, the timestamp is way back. and I just construct a new zip command, zip to this file, and then a file list. So it says zip something.zip and a lot of file names separated by spaces, and that's how you zip multiple files. So this definitely works. Maybe there is a limit, but I don't know that. So all this zipping goes to this execute node, and if there is a success, then I generate the download link and I pass that back to this guy here, which I use for the, all the downloads. So it just pops up a new window with the link, and then it just appears as a download up here in Chrome. So simple as that. And then if something fails, then I get a notification, which is like this, the typical notification that something didn't work. I don't remember what's the typical reasons why zip would fail. I mean, if you don't have zip installed, that probably will fail. And that's it. So, I mean, besides these things, I mean, obviously the layout changes I was playing around. I still need to move the this download probably somewhere here where it's not visible. Maybe I can just teleport it onto the app bar, or just maybe I will include it in the toolbar, or as I said, the file preview, so it doesn't take up space. Or maybe I'm just, no, I think I'm going to keep it as a separate template, and then just teleport it up here, so it doesn't appear as a piece of space here on the UI. But to be honest, it's not really noticeable down here either. And that's it. And I have started to do some very basic documentation here. So yeah, these are the new features that I have done. Maybe we can call this version 1.1, and also do the fixes. And I have a couple of ideas. So yeah, I definitely want some date filters. Somebody mentioned uploading files, which is something that I haven't really considered, because I never really had to use uploading. But actually that's a good feature, and I've noticed that in the Vuetify input controls I have a file input control. So you can do something like this, and you click on it and it opens up a file upload, and then you just select, and then you can deal with the selection. And I think that's going to be ideal for, again, a pop-up. So it pops up with this guy, you click on it, you select the file, and then you click upload, and it uploads. Maybe it would be, neater to have a like a drop-in area, but I have no idea how to do that. Maybe that's going to be like version 2.0, but as you can see, there's a lot of things here that you can do with a simple file input. So that's going to be cool to do. And I mean, definitely the other thing I want to do is like a simple built-in text editor. And that would be nice to do as well. Maybe something simple which doesn't have any features like this, but something with a syntax highlight would be useful. Again, editing, maybe you have bash files or CSV files or some JSONs in settings, or even editing the settings.js for Node-RED in the UI would be useful. So then you can make changes, and then you don't have to SSH in, and maybe you have a button on the dashboard which triggers Node-RED restart, and you can just restart Node-RED. And I also need to remove these buttons. Fix the layout. Yeah, see this no borders thing. So at the moment I have 3 groups. So this is one group, that's the second group, and that's the third group. And I somehow have to make this not to show a border, and then probably I also have to make this one, so the background, to be white as well. So it's everything going to be white. It's not going to be visible that you have groups at all. So what I have done already is this UI. No. So this UI has a separate file browser, edit. So this has a separate theme. And what I have done, interestingly, is I set that okay, oh, I can make the group outline white here. And you see, I said that I want the page background to be white, and it's just getting ignored. So I can make the group outline white, the background white, everything white, and okay, there is a group radius border, which I guess I can just remove this, reduce this to 0. So I only have a widget gap of 12 pixels, but everything down to 0. And if I update this, it doesn't work. You know, I can refresh, this always happens, this I need to sort out. But what is funny is that the background is not changed, the border is not changed. So definitely some of these things in the theme have no impact on the actual theme. So that's, I don't know whether it's a bug or something in the view which cannot be overwritten by Dashboard 2.0, but I will try to find it out. So these are the sort of the changes that I want to make here in the editor. And I think also I said to myself that I want to have a piece here which shows the current folder. So that's something that I can just easily put in up on the top as well. Show the current folder up top. Okay, but I think that would be all for today. As usual, I'm going to update the flow for this with all the additional changes. So the link is going to be in the video description. But that will be all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next video.